Oh, yes. Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, or good day, or salutations, or something, right? Something's going on. I hope everybody is well. Let me just check a couple things here. Good morning, Karen. You're first. Congratulations. Let me just see how we're doing here. All right. Okay, so we're having trouble with the Twitter. We're having trouble with the Periscope stream. What's up, everybody? Good to see everyone. Good morning, Karen. What's up, TJ? What's up, Anna? What's up, Balthazar? What's up, Mizzy? What's up, Dan? What's up, Frederick? What's up, the vegan anarchist? What's up, Virthrus? What's up, Melissa? What's up, Matthew? What's up, Karen? What's up, TJ? What's up, Lee? Good afternoon, good morning, good everything. Sorry I was distracted a little bit there. We're having some issues. For some reason, we're having some issues with the stream on Periscope, aka Twitter. I don't know what's going on, but we're not going on Twitter for some reason. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with that. I'm not sure why that is. But for some reason, we're having some issues over on the Twitter. Let me check it real quick here and just see if I'm on there. I apologize for having tech issues in real time, so to speak. But what are you gonna do? It's part of a show like this, I guess. All right. So something's up with the Twitter. I don't know what that is, but something's up with the Twitter. All right. Well, we're just going to keep on keeping on. That's all we can do. All right. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, salutations. The works. You get it. By the way, we have a lot of pot stories today, of all things. So because of pot stories, which, by the way, we are over 30. So officially, welcome to Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. I am Ron Placone, your host. What does that mean, by the way? That means you guys tweet me articles, you send me ideas, and that's how we build the show. I'm seeing everything for the first time, and that's how we do it. And we got a lot of pot topics today, a lot of stories about pot. So because of that, the song of the day, we're going to go with a classic. I hope you don't mind. We're going with a classic. It's Thursday. It's the end of our week. Time to go with a classic. So the classic, I'm going to go with Redemption Song, Bob Marley. It's a classic. I know it's a classic. But Redemption Song, Bob Marley. You can't go wrong with it. And in lieu of everything, we have a lot of pot stories today in several different states. In Illinois and in Colorado. So in celebration of that, we're going to go with Redemption Song, Bob Marley. We are evolving on the drug war a little bit as a society. Still take a couple steps backwards too. But overall, I'd like to think Bob Marley would be smiling at all this. So we're going to go with Redemption Song by Bob Marley. Famously covered by Joe Strummer and Johnny Cash, too. Gotta give a shout out to those beautiful covers that they do, because they do an excellent job. But there you go. All right. So let's go to some of these pot stories I'm talking about. We'll start with them since I brought it up. And first, we'll go over to Illinois. We'll go over to Illinois first, because what happened is Illinois is doing something, and then Colorado was like, we will not be outdone. So boom, Illinois passes a recreational marijuana bill. The bill's going to the House. The Senate passed it. It's going to the House. So the push to legalize recreational marijuana, which we should just call it pot, by the way. We shouldn't say marijuana anymore. It's a dumb term, rooted in racism. So I like just saying pot. The push to legalize recreational pot use took a big step forward in Illinois Wednesday after the Senate passed a recreational pot bill. The bill is now heading to the House. HB 1438, passed the Senate with 38 voting in favor and 17 opposed. 2 senators voted present and 2 voted no. Why would voted present, really? Those are the people that like I don't want to seem like a square. I'm against this, but I don't want to seem like a square, so I'm just going to vote present. What are you undecided on? You're either against pot because you want to entertain the fantasy of an archaic drug war based in propaganda that has been debunked many times over for the past, how long's it been now? Literally almost 100 years. Not quite, but almost 100 years. Pretty much since the 30s. So we are slowly approaching 100 years. We'll have a 100th anniversary and the drug war will still be going on. Arguably the best propaganda campaign ever in the history of the United States. It was a hell of a successful propaganda campaign. Hella evil. But as far as propaganda campaigns go, wow. It nailed it. So you either entertain that archaic fantasy for votes or whatever else, or because you have money to gain from it, you're probably in bed with Big Pharma, etc., or you've evolved like public opinion has many times over. If you're on the fence, what planet are you living on? If you're on the, I'm not sure yet. How are you not sure yet? Well, tons of scientific evidence. There is a lot of benefits to hemp, a lot of benefits to CBD, a lot of benefits to pot. It is designated a Class 1 drug by the DEA, which means it has no redeemable qualities. That has been proven not true many times over. It's a plant. It started out as an ingredient for food in China. What more do you need? I mean, what more well, I saw this movie, Reefer Madness, that we now view as a total parody, because it was. Big Pharma told me this. They, of course, make money off of pain pills. Come on. What more do you need? What more do you need? I'm not sure yet. No, you're sure. You just don't want to look like an archaic fool. That's what it is. Voting present. It's almost like I have more respect. Not respect, but I can, honor somebody. If you voted no, at least you're standing for something. I mean, you're standing for something terrible and corrupt beyond all measure, but at least we know who you are. At least your mask is off. If you vote present, it's almost like you're, I'm not for it, obviously, but I don't want to look square. I might want to pander for votes later. Anyway, all right, let's go back to the article, see what's going on. All right, so the bill would allow Illinois residents to possess any combination of the following: 30 grams of cannabis flower, 5 grams of cannabis concentrate, 500 milligrams of THC contained in a cannabis-infused product, or 1 brownie or cookie. That's the other thing. 1 brownie or cookie, up to 10 gummy worms. Pot gummies are fun, by the way. Although I'm not a big edible fan. We'll dissect this later in the chat. But I'm not a big edible fan. Some of y'all might be. And no judgment here if you are. But me, I'm not a big edible fan. One time, I took an edible before seeing the movie The Martian. If any of you have seen that movie. I don't want to spoil anything with the movie, but I will tell you one piece of information. I was really, really stoned. And I thought that the entire movie, everybody was plotting against him. And I could not get that thought out of my head, so I was not able to follow the movie. So I guess but there's never at any point where you would get the inkling that everybody involved was plotting against the main character. So I'm not really spoiling anything. But if you saw that movie, you know what I'm referring to. And yeah, I thought everybody, like the news media, the government, everybody was plotting against the dude who was up there. And so the movie made no sense to me eventually. Like, I was just like, wait a second. I thought, so their plan got foiled? And they were like, what plan are you talking about, Ron? Now, that may have been also an interesting movie. The Martian was a good movie. I enjoyed it. But that movie, the one, like it was a conspiracy or whatever, that could have been very interesting as well. But in my head, that's what I thought was going on throughout the entire movie. I was just like, oh man, yeah. Nothing gave me those clues except for my paranoid brain. So anyway, I'm not a big, that's not why I'm not a big fan of edibles. There's other reasons. I just don't like the way they make me feel. But anyway, that's something interesting that happened to me on the edibles. So there's that. All right, so that's what Illinois is pushing for. And now that bill is heading to the House. And then eventually it will get to the governor's desk. All right. So we'll follow this as it unfolds. So our other pot story, like I said, Colorado did not want to be outdone. Colorado's like, oh, Illinois is doing something. We legalized it first, and we will not be outdone. We're taking it a step further. By the way, we decriminalized mushrooms. Colorado, come get a Rocky Mountain High. What did Colorado do? To not be outdone by Illinois, Colorado, they're doing this. Boomtown, Colorado governor, sorry about the margins on this one. Colorado governor signs law legalizing pot social use areas. So they're going to have social use areas for pot. All right, so Colorado Governor Jared Polis on Wednesday signed off on legislation that would allow businesses in the state to apply for licenses for social pot use areas. The measure authorizes pot hospitality spaces in which pot may be consumed on site and retail pot hospitality and sales establishment in which retail pot concentrate, and retail pot products retail may be sold and consumed on site in the establishment's hospitality space. The bill establishes requirements and prohibitions for the new hospitality spaces and require the state licensing authority to promulgate rules governing the new hospitality licenses and spaces. All right, so prior to this bill, residents and tourists could legally smoke pot recreationally under the state's existing law. However, there were few areas where smokers could go in the state to partake in legal consumption. So up until this bill, what they're saying is there's been no way to have safe public consumption. That's what the Governor Polis is saying. That's why he signed the bill. I've smelled it walking my dog. For many of us with kids, we want to make sure we don't have that in our neighborhoods. And according to the Associated Press, the law is scheduled to take effect in 2020, pending approval from voters. I have a feeling it'll get approval from voters if I had to take a guess. Hospitality spaces. All right, and I wonder if it's... So it doesn't look like there's many... it's just kind of saying spaces. They're not giving a ton more detail there. So I'm assuming that could mean like bars or, places that you go for recreation. Maybe restaurants. If a restaurant could do it, that'd be very smart. Because first you could go smoke and get the munchies, and then you're going to go eat. So, it's like, well, gee, if we have a recreational pot space near our restaurant, I mean, I know with smoking bans, that kind of raises a lot of questions, like, would something like that be possible? But there's always exemptions for stuff like hookah bars and exemptions to, like, how much food do you serve in certain states. I'm not fluent in Colorado smoking laws myself, cigarette smoking. So I'm not sure, but if a restaurant can pull that off, that would be very smart. It's like, hey, if somebody's on the fence about an appetizer, if we have a smoking area, they're like, I'm not sure if I want to get an app or not. I'm trying to watch my budget. Hey, go over there and partake in the smoking area. And if that restaurant serves pizza and or macaroni and cheese, holy shit, they'll cater their menu accordingly. They're just like, all right, We have a nice prime rib on the menu tonight. We got a good vegetarian curry for our non-meat eaters. We got a fantastic pasta dish. And some of our apps on special. We have a wonderful bruschetta. We got a great calamari. And our newest menu addition, Funyuns. That's what we got going on. We're going to mix it up. Because there's the smoking space over there. So partake and enjoy. Colorado. Now, I have a feeling voters are going to be on board with this. That's what I think. I think voters are going to be on board. And now, here you go. Colorado. They're doing the pot thing a little further. They're going to have recreational spaces. Because the governor's dog is smelling that shit. All right? The governor's dog, you want to inconvenience the governor's dog? So what the governor, he's like, look, we need spaces for this. Think about my dogs. And then I know he pivoted to children. You know, we don't want children. We don't want children to smell a plant. But no, I think this is a good idea. Have certain spaces and venues. That just makes it a better activity. And you know what? If they're having it in bars, especially, hey, somebody might, instead of having more drinks, maybe they're just going to smoke instead and not drink as much. And, maybe that keeps our roads a little safer. I'm not advocating stone driving. But, I feel like being drunk, it inhibits your decision-making in a more negative way compared to being stoned. So, yeah. So, that's interesting. Colorado's pursuing this. They want to have actual spaces so that people know. And I know, like, in other places that have had legalized pot for a long time, they have cafes and stuff like that. So Colorado, they're going to be diving into that. There might be some pot cafes, some pot bars, and again, restaurants, sitting on a gold mine. That's what you need to do. You're sitting on a gold. That's why I might move to Colorado and open up a restaurant that, and then have a designated pot area, and then be like, all right, here's our menu, and just have it completely catered. We're going to sell like everything Little Debbie makes. And then we're going to up it by like a couple dollars, hoping nobody notices. They're like, what? What? This Nutter Butter Bar was or no, it's not the, what are those things called? You know what I mean. Little Debbie. We'll go with oatmeal cream pie for this. This oatmeal cream pie is $12. Like, yeah, man. What are you going to do? I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be rich. So there we go. That's happening in Colorado. We'll see how that advances. Yeah. Well, it's signed off. It got signed off by the governor. I'm sorry. Yeah. So this will allow businesses will apply for the law, and as long as the voters approve, it'll take effect in 2020. All right. So that's where that is. The Illinois bill has not gotten to the governor's desk yet. All right. Moving on. Okay. So check this out. The U.S. slipped to third place in the ranking of most competitive economies. Long Beach shares this. For the first time in 9 years, Singapore surpassed the United States and Hong Kong to clinch the title of the world's most competitive economy, according to IMD's 2019 World Competitiveness Ranking. Singapore's immigration laws, advanced technology infrastructure, availability of skilled labor, and efficient ways to set up new businesses helped it advance to the top, the Switzerland-based business school found. For the first time in 9 years, Singapore surpassed the United States and Hong Kong, who clinched the title of the world's most competitive economy, according to annual rankings compiled by Switzerland-based business school IMD. Speaking to CNBC's Squawk Box Asia on Wednesday, Arturo Brice, director of the IMD World Competitiveness Center, said the Southeast Asian country had been following a simple recipe for competitiveness. All right, so the USA has dropped to number 3. But don't worry, everybody. The U.S. is still number 1 when it comes to prison population. We got the most of that. You know, we're number 1 when it comes to lack of maternity leave. We're number 1 when it comes to people in industrialized country going bankrupt over healthcare bills. So don't worry. We still got those number 1 spots. But we're not the most competitive anymore. So, hey, man, the economy's doing great. The economy's doing fantastic. You know, a lot of people are underemployed. They can't afford $1,000 emergency. Wages are completely stagnant. And we have a ton of needs in this country that are just going unaddressed while CEOs are getting richer. No, the economy's doing great. We're the most competitive in the world. Actually, no, we dropped. As of recent, we recently dropped. That's a recent thing. We ain't number one anymore. So you can't dangle that over people's heads when they're pointing out all the catastrophic problems the U.S. is facing. You can say, oh, recently. Well, we went from being number one to number 3. And then what you do, directly after you do that, take a sip of water out of a frickin' mason jar. Here, watch this. Like, oh, well, I have been studying the reports as well. And I would like to tell you that we used to be number 1 in competitiveness. As of recently, we have descended to number 3. Point to you, good sir or madam. And then if you have a cigar, don't smoke it. Put it up your butt. Do that. End the clip there, Joe. So there you go. U.S. economy. Not number 1 anymore. Or competitiveness. There you go. Hey, do you guys like fast cars? I do. We got a story about a fast car coming up. Ferrari's latest goes 211 miles per hour with a 986 HP, and it's a hybrid. Interesting. All right, so let's explore this Ferrari. I'm seeing this for the first time. If you've worried that the slow death of the internal combustion engine will put an end to the palpitations behind the wheel, hang on to that defibrillator. Our hearts go out to those with a few $100,000 to spend on the SF90 Stradale. This is according to the article, by the way. My heart doesn't go out to those who have that kind of spending money for a car like this. I just don't think they need my sympathy for anything. It's like, yeah, my heart doesn't. I mean, what do you need my heart for? What do you need it for? I don't think you need it. Is there oil in my heart? No? Well, then you're not interested, probably. Anyway, let's see. On Wednesday, Ferrari unveiled the plug-in hybrid electric that, thanks to a battery, is the most powerful production vehicle ever to roll out of Maranello. It's pretty cool. The 2-seat mid-engine supercar combines a V8 engine with 3 electric motors drawing power from a 7.9. So 7.9, is that just regular kilowatt, or is that something else? I think that's something different. So that's not actually kilowatt, but I'm not sure that measurement off the top of my head. I'm sure someone in the chat can let me know. Battery to generate 986 horsepower. That's a lot. And 560 pound-feet of torque. All right, cool. That's enough to send Ferrari's first four-wheel drive car from a standstill to 62 miles per hour in 2.5 seconds, and double that in 6.7 seconds. So in 6.7 seconds, it can get to about 120 miles an hour. That's pretty impressive. But you know what? If we can do this, how about we get everybody off of fossil fuels? Why don't we do that? That's really cool that we have this car that goes really fast. And admittedly, some of those measurements I'm not even familiar with off the top of my head. I'm sure someone in the chat can point it out to me. In fact, let me go to you real quick. See if you guys know that measurement so I can correctly state it. Oh, it's kilowatt hours. Okay. So it's torque and kilowatt hours. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Cool. So there's that. Kilowatt hours. So that's really freaking fast. That's a really freaking fast car. But if we can do that, how about we get everyone off of fossil fuels? How about we get actual infrastructure solutions across the world? And some places in the world are a lot further than others. You know, it's so cool. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to lie and say this isn't really neat that a car can go that fast. Of course it's neat. But isn't it kind of discouraging when you see stuff like this? And then, you know, if you live in the state of California, you're told, we can't put in a high-speed rail between San Diego and San Francisco. Just can't do it. For some reason, we can't build an extensive rail across the United States, even though we used to have one. We used to have one when our technology was an nth of what it is today. But it's hard now. Everything's different. We can't possibly figure out a way to replicate something we already frickin' had. We can make a car that can get to over 120 miles an hour in 6.7 seconds. We can do that. We can totally do that. We can talk about building civilizations near the moon. We can talk about doing that. But we can't possibly give everybody health care in the United States. We can't possibly have extensive transportation solutions in the United States. We can't possibly end war around the world. We can't possibly break our dependence on fossil fuels. We can't possibly do that. We certainly can't have a common sense solution to guns in the United States. We can't do that. Totally can't do that. We can't recognize a total Orwellian and brutal response to the idea of press freedom when we see it many times over towards journalists and whistleblowers and publishers. We can't possibly do anything like that. But, we can make really fast cars, and we can pontificate about a ship that had McCain's name on it. And, we can pontificate about Trump's little measuring contest with the media and with whoever else. That's what we can do. All right. Guys, this is actually the last story for today, and then I'm going to go to you guys, and we're going to chat it out for a little bit, and we're going to end a little bit early today because I am working on a campaign. You know that about me. But check this out. Geraldo Rivera has some things to say. He is on the prowl. Check out what Geraldo has to say. Check out this tweet. This is fair warning, as I did with Bill Clinton in 1997-98. I tonight announce that if you want to impeach this president on these facts, you'll have to come through me. That's Geraldo. He's you gotta break. What a dumb tweet. First of all, how'd it go with Bill Clinton? Did they back down for Bill, Geraldo? Is that what they did? Is that what happened? Did they Geraldo? Maybe that's another guy where like all of his kind of warmongering is kept in his mustache. Kind of like how John Bolton, we were talking about that yesterday. And Geraldo is a fine actor who does an impression of a journalist every so often, along with his other actors. You gotta go through me. Here's a couple funny responses that I'll highlight. All right, so Derek Sheen, who is a buddy of mine, says, "How about on you?" And then Dave Anthony, also a buddy of mine, "I didn't even know you were still alive." Those are some responses to that tweet. Geraldo, you got to go through me. You want to impeach? Go through me. I said it last time. Geraldo. And when there's a next time, he'll just be... Like, you just imagine him, like, standing there, like, on the lawn of the White House, and he'll be like, "I'm not moving!" And then people just walk by him, and they're like, "All right, this is quite a stunt." There's, like, one Fox News camera. It's not even being held by an actual production person. It's being held by an intern. Because even on that network, they were just like, "Yeah, we're not going to put any resources into this." He's like, "Did you see my tweet? They have to go through me. They have to go through me." And then he's, like, standing there, and he's like, "Yes, I will. Solidarity." And they just walk by him. They're like, "This is a really dumb act of political theater." And he's just like, "No!" And then Bill O'Reilly comes on in an attempt to get some more camera time and be like, "Remember that time we argued about nothing? Can we do that again?" And they're like, "Sure." And then they're like, "You want anarchy." And then they have this pointless back and forth about nothing. And then in the end, they're just like, "See? We offer diversity on viewpoints on Fox News. We yelled at each other. Hey! And then they're both still rich, except for the intern, who is going to have a big change of heart after that moment. That intern's going to be like, I can't possibly participate in this bullshit. This network is bullshit. The entire corporate media in the United States is compromised beyond comprehension, and it's all bullshit. I'm going to go travel the world and just vlog about it and figure out how to make a sustainable income doing that, because this is some bullshit. And all power to that intern. In a world of Geraldo and Bill O'Reilly's, be that intern that I made up. All right, let me go to you guys, see what you're saying. I hope everyone's having a wonderful Thursday, and I hope y'all have a great weekend, I really hope for that. Let's see. Kilowatt hours, yes, thank you for that. Much appreciated. Thank you very much for the Super Chat contributions here. Jedi Mullet, we got a couple from you. Jedi Mullet, Colorado is doing pot better because they have the Rocky Mountain High. Jedi Mullet also says, I'm tired of being number one in the things we're number one at. Amen to that. And Jedi Mullet, $0 to help people in tent cities, $7 billion for the Olympics. So corporations have a place to smear their logo feces. Very true, and thank you for those thoughts, Jedi Mullet. And by the way, logo feces, that would be a hell of a band. And I really like the idea of logo feces when referring to the advertising for corporations. So thank you very much for that, Jedi Mullet. I appreciate that very much. Logo feces. Gonna spread your logo feces everywhere. I like that. Well done. Slow news day. Ron Placone, did you see where Glenn Beck and Bill O'Reilly are hosting a history cruise? Yes, I did see that. And then Slow News Day asked, do I want to get kicked off the boat? I want to go just because I want to see if they have like a reenactment, like when you go to some of the places, if they're going to have dinosaurs standing there with people being like, see, there it is. We're teaching you history. I don't think either of them are actual creationists. I don't know for sure, but I don't know if they actually are, but it's just a funny thought that popped in my head. Jilly says I should book a comedy show on that boat. I'm going to say I wouldn't do well, but it would be fun to live stream that entire thing, and that'd be interesting. I may need a life jacket, and I may need an exit plan, but I'm sure at least the food's good. I'm sure on that cruise the food's fine. They probably flavor everything with fracking fluid and unicorn tears, which is high in protein, I believe. So there's that. Geraldo. Let's see. Other y'all are saying that logo feces would have banned, seized the means of production. Oh, Long Beach gives a shout out. The food would also have Roundup. Amen to that. Lily, how are you? Glad to have caught you live. You say to me, thank you. I want to say thank you for your peace advocacy. It's often a lonely world as a peacenik veteran, but seeing civies, I'm not sure what that means. Oh, civilians. I'm assuming that means civilians. Pick up the torch gives me hope. That's awesome, Lily. And we did a story earlier this week about veterans. Marcus shared it with us. I don't know if Marcus is on the chat today, but veterans all across the political aisle are coming together. There's conservative veterans group. There's also liberal or progressive veterans groups. And they're all coming together to say, we got to end these freaking wars. And also on this topic, and this is something very heavy, but I retweeted this, and if you want to check it out, I do recommend it, although I'm telling you now, it's very heavy. The U.S. Army tweeted something where they said, talk about what your service did for you. And when you read the thread, it is brutal. And it's people sharing what they experienced and how they're suffering from PTSD. It's people talking about their family members who came home and later committed suicide. It's people talking about their family members who were exposed to Agent Orange and the health problems that they dealt with later in life. Some of them, the health problems that, their family members who were exposed to Agent Orange dealt with. And in some cases, the children of people who were exposed to Agent Orange, they talked about what they had to deal with because they got some stuff. And it's a brutal thread. I'm not doing it justice by just describing it here. you really got to read it for yourself. I retweeted it from a fellow colleague of mine, Jim Earl, who writes for the Jimmy Dore Show, along with myself. And, yeah, it's very powerful. It's very powerful. Jedi Mullet, that's funny. Jedi Mullet also says, aren't the people worried about the ship falling off the edge of the world? That might be a concern. They're gonna see if it happens. Real Jingy, good morning to everybody. Good morning to me, and good to see everybody else. Thank you for that. Right on. And Slow News Day saw that thread, and Slow News Day said, the spin the Army put on it afterward was even more brutal than the honesty in the thread. I'm not familiar with the spin they did after. I know that they were responding to it, and they were just trying to like downplay what people were actually saying. I mean, I saw that. I did see that. So yeah. Hooray here on non-notification Thursdays. Sydney, that sucks. I know people don't get notifications all the time. We're having some issues with the stream. We're also having an issue on Twitter with the stream. For some reason, the Twitter stream is not loading. We had an issue with that yesterday. We're having it again today. I'm not sure why, but I'm going to have to deal with some tech folks to try to figure it out. Chris Wynn says, not only were U.S. soldiers exposed to Agent Orange, Vietnam still has an absurdly high birth defect rate because their country is poisoned by it. Whew. Yeah. Yeah, it's heavy. It's very heavy. All right. Well, we got to end a little earlier today, so we are out of time. Guys, I have some tour dates coming up. Please don't hesitate. Please get your tickets. The East Coast. We're coming to the East Coast. Yes. June 12th, D.C. June 13th, Baltimore, Maryland. June 14th and 15th, Philadelphia. June 16th, New Haven, Connecticut. June 17th, New York City, baby. And June 19th, Boston, Mass. Graham Elwood and myself are coming for the Progressive Comedy Tour. Please get tickets now. Do not wait. Also, July 27th, we're coming back to Vegas. And this is something for you, the internet, all of us. June 11th. We're going to be doing a day of action for net neutrality. I'm working on that with Fight for the Future. I don't have all the details yet, but I'll be able to make a formal announcement very soon. I was hoping this week. It might not be till next week, but a formal announcement will be coming very, very soon. If you want to support this show on the sustainability end, please do consider becoming a patron. For a Give What You Can level, you get all kinds of exclusive content, including my album. You help me expand this show. You help me keep it on the air. You help me make improvements. We got a new camera. We're working on some new things. There's been a few kinks that have popped up, but we're working on it. This is still a pretty new show, and we're working on all of it, and your support does make all the difference in the world. It helps keep this show on the air. Without your support, this show could not exist. And hey, please like and share these videos. Make sure you're subscribed. Watch the videos all the way through. Put it on in a separate window and just let the ads play through. You don't have to watch them. Just let them play through. And don't just do that for me. Do that for all the content creators you know and love, because that helps sustain our channel. There were a few other things y'all said. Sean, I'll see you in Philly. I'm stoked. That's awesome. Bluebell, I'm really sorry to hear this, and I'll go ahead and read this. One of my favorite people just passed away from Agent Orange. He worked for Veterans for Peace. I'm really sorry to hear that, Bluebell. And I'm thankful for the work he did for Veterans for Peace, because I know they're an amazing organization. They've spoken at some of our Progressive Comedy Tour shows, and I'm very sorry for your loss. And I'll be seeing some of you in New York City. Statutory, see you in New York City. Yeah. Oh, and Chris is pointing out the Department of Defense tweeted that they manipulate Hollywood to make it portray the Army well. Interesting. All right. Well, we are totally out of time. Thank you so much for being part of this. I'll be back on Monday. I'll be back. Same time, same channel, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time, right here on YouTube. And we'll figure out what's going on with the Twitter and the Periscope. But until then, the podcast drops tomorrow. You know the drill. This has been Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. Consider the news gotten. Lucy says meow. I say peace. Peace.